day and welcome to the African News and Broadcast from Canada. My name is Sandra Asante. Top stories. Mass detention of Tigrayans ongoing in Ethiopia. UN says. US urges citizens to leave Ethiopia immediately. There's and more stories coming up after the break. You're welcome back from the break to a very first story. A report by the United Nations Human Rights Agency says at least 1,000 people, mostly ethnic Tigrayans, have been arrested since the government declared a state of emergency on 2nd of November. Under a 6-month emergency, the authorities have sweeping powers to arrest people, detain suspects without trial, and conduct house searches without warrant. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights said at least 1,000 individuals are believed to have been detained over the past or so. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights said at least 1,000 individuals are believed to have been detained over the past week or so, with some reports putting the figure much higher. The statement says detention conditions are generally poor and many detainees are held in overcrowded police stations. 10 local UN staff members who were arrested on 9th of November remain in detention. Most of those detained are reported to be people of Tigrayan origin, arrested often on suspicion of being affiliated to or supporting the Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF), the UN said. In the past, police said the arrests were not ethnically motivated but targeted supporters of the TPLF, which has been fighting the federal government for the past year and is now advancing towards the capital. Still in Ethiopia, the U.S. State Department has warned American citizens in Ethiopia that it will not be able to evacuate them if the security situation worsens suddenly. A senior U.S. official urged American citizens to leave Ethiopia immediately, saying that Washington had no plans to organize a mass evacuation as it did in Afghanistan. The U.S. and the African Union have been pressuring the Ethiopian government and its allies to end their conflict, which has killed several thousands of people and displaced 2 million since it started a year ago. American officials says the U.S. has held off approving sanctions against the warring parties because peace negotiations are still active. Away from Ethiopia, we go to Sudan, and all the political detainees, including Prime Minister Hamdallah Hamdok, would be released within 2 days maximum, said Malik Agar, a member of the Transitional Sovereign Council in Sudan, on Tuesday. In an interview with eri-tv on Tuesday evening, Agar said he and his 2 colleagues of the Sudanese Revolutionary Front (SRF), Hadi Idris and Tahir Haja, are calling for dialogue between the political group of the Forces for Freedom and Change (FFC) and the military component. Our position is that all the parties have to return to the negotiation table, he said when he was asked about his position on the current crisis. Aga, who is also an FFC leading member, said what happened on the 25th of October was a coup and a release of all political detainees should be the first step towards a conducive environment for political dialogue. He disclosed he met with Prime Minister Hamdok 3 times to discuss where to settle the drift. According to Aga, the coup leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan also did accept their request to release the detainees. We are in dialogue with al-Burhan to release the detainees, and the military component says that they will be released after a day or 2, he said. He stressed that the release of the detainee is one of the needed measures to create a sustainable and a suitable atmosphere for dialogue. Nobody can dialogue from prison, he said. After the military takeover on October 25th, Prime Minister Hamdok was in prison for some days before being placed under house arrest. Some of his advisors and cabinet members are also in detention. Recently, other political figures have been arrested. The 3 leaders of armed groups who joined the Sovereign Council in the line with the Juba Peace Agreement. Aga particularly have been slammed for joining the new Sovereign Council formed after the military coup. However, Aga said they use their legitimacy as peace partners to seek a way out from the ongoing crisis, stressing they want to prevent the collapse of the country if the armed groups took part in the drift. Regarding the protest movement, he said supporting the freedom of expression and against the use of violence to disperse the demonstrators. During the interview, which was followed by many Sudanese, Aga repeated several times that dialogue is the only alternative to settle the current crisis. The SPLMN leader said he, together with Idris and Haja, passed 4 hours with his comrade and SPLM Deputy Chairman Yasser Aman on Tuesday. Also, Aga showed optimism, saying that he has the feeling that the ongoing crisis will be settled soon. Returning to the constitutional document is probable, he said, because it is a text that was negotiated and agreed by both sides. The current situation is catastrophic but could turn into a benefit for the country if all parties sit at the negotiation table without preconditions, he further emphasized. Aga said he knows there is anger everywhere in the country among the political and civil society groups as well as the military component, but only dialogue allows to overcome the current crisis. The Sudanese Professionals Association and Resistance Committees calls for demonstrations on 17th of November as there are growing calls to continue the peaceful protest and to reject any compromise with military component. This is where I draw the curtains on African News. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sancho Asante. You should have a great day.